In Kenya, the richest farmers are mostly from central Kenya. But have you met the real tycoons from Uasin Gishu? These people farm hundreds and thousands acres of fertile land. Today's episode, we go through the top 10 farmers in Uasin Gishu. Number 1. Kruger's family in Sergoit. I personally, having been born in Uasin Gishu and around Keyo, if it happened that you spotted an aircraft in your childhood, that was either Jan Ernest Kruger of Sergoit or Nicholas Biwott spraying herbicide or patrolling his fields. It takes 4 hours to drive around his 5,000 acres of highly mechanized farm at Sergoit, the size of an entire sublocation in a densely populated areas of Kenya. The sophistication on Mr. Kruger's farm is comparable to farmlands in Europe and in South Africa. It has 1 kilometer runway to begin with, a landing pad from where Mr. Kruger himself a pilot flies to Nairobi to get spare parts for his machinery. Out of the large group of Boers who took the boat to Mombasa in 1906, only one family of Afrikaner descent remains in Eldoret today, at Kruger Farm in Sergoit, located 24 kilometers from Eldoret CBD on the Eldoret-Moiben Road. The Kruger family is a prominent farming family in Uasin Gishu to date. They carry out large-scale farming on their 5,000 acres of highly mechanized farms. Now in its 4th generation, with Stephanus Kruger, who has lived in 2 eras, seeing his father, Mr. J.E. Kruger, farm in the colonial days and now himself in independent Kenya. The Kruger commercially farm maize, wheat, barley and dairy farming, and are also big conservationists. The Sergoit farm is one of the highly mechanized farms, utilizing a variety of machinery, including plowing tractors, combine harvesters, spraying machines and road graders to maintain their farm. During the period of the late 1950s and early 1960s, amidst the Mau Mau uprising and Kenya's journey to independence, numerous white farmers, especially British and Boers, apprehensive of potential backlash from the locals who are relinquishing their land holdings. Among them were the Kruger family, initially bound for South Africa. However, Jan Kruger had a change of heart upon reaching South Africa. Opting to return to Kenya, he sought Kenyan citizenship and took advantage of the opportunity to purchase inexpensive farmland from departing settlers, which by the way can be found in their farms, well maintained up to now. The farm has silos with a capacity to store 4,000 tons of grains at any given time, approximately 44,000 bags of maize. Most of his clients, the big millers, go to collect from him instead of the other way around. He has 1,500 acres under barley, 2,000 under maize, and 1,000 under wheat. He even owns a hill of 400 acres which is used as a wildlife sanctuary in which he keeps Rothschild, giraffes, antelopes and little duikers. The balance of 100 acres is taken up by his dairy, his home compound and 110 kilometers of graded road network, equal to a distance between Nairobi and Gilgil or from Eldoret to Malaba on the Kenya-Uganda border. He draws his water from springs powered by windmills. Mr. Kruger estimates that if he were to sell his farm as a going concern, it will fetch 1.5 billion Kenyan shillings. Number 2. Nicholas Biwott family. Most of the largest tracts of land in Moiben, Ainabkoi and Keyo belong to Biwott. In 1969, he purchased the Eldoret Town International Harvester franchise, as well as the Kipsinende Dairy Farm. About this time, he also began to build a real estate portfolio in Rift Valley and Nairobi, and invested in wheat and maize commercial farming. He started an import-export food and agriculture business in 1972, bought 2 wheat farms in 1974, one of which was the locally renowned Kapkaro farm, and acquired a small safari aircraft operator in 1977, which became Air Kenya. Reputed to be a billionaire, his wealth ranged from expansive tracts of land locally, real estate including Nairobi's iconic shopping mall, Yaya Center, shares in Kenol Kobil and unit trusts. He was also said to own ranches in Australia, where he attained part of his education. His power accorded him both wealth and influence locally and abroad. Nicholas Biwott lived a life of such mystery and secrecy that his business dealings have remained a top secret even to his closest associates. Mr. Biwott was described as a billionaire with huge interest in real estate, aviation, agriculture, manufacturing, oil, banking, and insurance, among others. He also had massive interest in large-scale dealings in dairy, tea, wheat, and maize, as well as horticulture and floriculture, both in Kenya and abroad. Number 3. Mactow's family. Mactow is among 10 leading farmers in Uasin Gishu County. Formerly one of the most influential politicians in the Moi regime, he settled down to big-time farming combining crop, dairy, and trees. Black farmers bought their farms from departing conglomerates or white farmers after independence. His farm, previously owned by East African Training and Extract Company, is at Kapsaret, 40 kilometers from Mr. Kruger's farm. The uniqueness of Mr. Tow's farm lies in the challenges he faced in converting it into arable land. Unlike other farmers who inherited ready farmlands from departing white farmers, he had to pump in vast resources because he had wattle trees, making the soil unsuitable for crops. Unlike Mr. Kruger, his 3,000 plus acre farm is naturally endowed with 3 rivers, the Kipkaren, the Leberio, and a local stream. From the acidic soils that bore wattle trees, he had made his land fertile by using organic manure from animal plus inorganic fertilizer. Today, Mactow's family farm 5,000 acres of maize, another 500 of wheat, 1,000 acres of grazing, and in the rest they have planted gum trees to supply electricity poles to Kenya Power and Lightning Company. They have 13 paddocks holding 1,500 animals, both for dairy and beef. Their clients are the National Cereals and Produce Board, the big millers and Brookside, to whom they sell 2,500 liters of milk daily. The values of Mactow's machinery is at 30 million Kenyan shillings, and it includes tractors, combine harvesters, and spraying machines. Number 4 is Jackson Kibor. Eldoret farmer and politician Jackson Kibor was rich in both laughter and wealth. Kibor, a friend of retired President Moi, has his vast wealth pegged on endless tracts of land and property. But how did this former policeman amass all his wealth? Born in Kipkabus, Uasin Gishu County in 1934, his mother had moved with him to Nandi County before her death, but he went back to Kipkabus and began doing casual jobs at a tanning facility in the area. His financial ascent began when he left the tanning company for a lorry driver's job for the late millionaire Jonathan Kibogi in Uasin Gishu County, earning 75 shillings a month. That was in 1958, 5 years before Kenya became independent. But Kibor turned his life around by making real coins through a large-scale maize farming and wheat farming. His first large piece of land measured 8.6 acres in Kipkabus. Buying began through winning 35,000 in a darts championship alongside a brand new showroom car worth 17,600 Kenyan shillings. His second foray was in acquiring 1543 acres in Kabenes area at 2,000 and 20,000 Kenyan shillings in 1969 before purchasing 1,160 acres in Kitale, which had 500 Freshland cows at 1.5 million Kenyan shillings. Then Kibor struck the Mother Lodge with 357 acres in Moiben at 12 million Kenyan shillings, the only farm not bought from white settlers. Number 5. William Chemweno. William Chemweno believed in pursuing one passion no matter the circumstances. As a boy, he loved farming and livestock, so he studied agriculture and survey. From start to finish, his life was about agriculture, land, and associated business. Chemweno passed on 2020 November 11, aged 91. Chemweno was a student of President Moi at Tambach School. Later, he went to Jean School to study agriculture and soil survey. From training, he rolled up his sleeves and went into farming. Chemweno bought his first tractor in 1956 at the height of Mau Mau War of Independence. He never looked back, rising to be known for large-scale farming of maize, barley, and livestock. Chemweno also served in the land control boards of Uasin Gishu from 1963 to 2003. At some point, he also worked as an agricultural extension officer in the area, proving passion and determination in any field yield much. President Mwai Kibaki recognized his work in the agriculture and land sector, awarding him a head of state commendation. In December 2006, so soaked in the sector was he in the 90s, he stood up to the government on agricultural policies. He, alongside Stephanus Kruger, mobilized farmers to protest against policies he considered unfavorable. They brought Eldoret to a standstill with the protests. Chemweno also protested against non-dairy farmers' appointment as KCC directors. William Kiptanui Chemweno was a product of sheer hard work, determination and resilience. He built his own legacy from scratch, having worked for the white settlers, scaling up from overseeing the dairy department to the farm manager due to his disciplined principles and honesty. Chemweno was a great farmer specialized in large-scale wheat, barley and corn, and his produce was sought after by companies all over the country due to its quality. He also reared goats and sheep that added beauty when they grazed at the top of Karuna Hill. He also did pig and chicken farming successfully. The other top farmers in Uasin Gishu include George Smith, Reuben Chesire of Makonge, Silas Tiren, Samuel Kibogi, Mika Cheserem. Let me know which one among these should I make a comprehensive video on.